Sunshine, wild ones, it's Bernadette, and I'm here with your Pick a Card Tarot reading for Wednesday, April 14th, 2021. It is the bridge day. We're back to bridges, connecting one thing to the other. So right now, I am going to connect you with my new book. Please look in the comments section below, find the link to the Kickstarter, and go get your book. It's the biggest, most comprehensive work ever done on the subject of spirit, totem, and power animals. Animal spirit guides. It's 700 pages. It's full color. Literally, it is the book of all time on this subject. And if you love your animal allies, you want to know more about how to, recognize their messages and interpret their messages. Get closer to your animal allies. Learn to work with them for healing, for power, for protection, all that kind of thing. This is the book you want. So go to the Kickstarter, order your book today, because after Kickstarter, the prices go super, super up, like super up, mostly because the paper prices in China have skyrocketed like by 40%. So yes, the price of the book will be going up. Get a good deal today and you will not be sorry. You will love this book. So let's talk about the message for today, because this has been some kind of intense week already, and it's only Wednesday. We started out with Dragon. And then a goddess showed up yesterday for Tuesday, and now Moose has shown up inverted. Now, Moose is part of the add-on packs for the Arcanimal Tarot and Oracle deck, which is the deck that I read by. It's my own award-winning, history-making deck, and it is based on the Rider-Waite Tarot, but it also has Oracle cards that come along with it, and you can, Lord, Moose wants to escape, and you can... you can use the deck as a tarot deck, or you can just work with the animal allies. It's a super versatile deck. Again, the only one out there like it. And so when an oracle card comes inverted, I really have to take a look at, really the intuitive part of this and see what the animal allies are really trying to tell you. Because traditionally, when a card is inverted, it's the challenge of that animal or the challenge of the meaning of that card, that kind of thing. And so when I sat for a minute, really, it just goes along with the theme of this week, but in maybe a less obvious way. Here's why. So moose are the biggest part of the deer family. Moose are actually related to deer. They're part of that family. And so you always have to take into consideration when animals are part of families, scientific phylas and families and that kind of thing. You really have to take into consideration the symbolism and meaning from both of the animals. And so when I take a look at the moose and download what the animal allies are telling me, why this is important for your bridge day, from your, bridging the beginning of your week with the rest of your week, or oh gosh, yesterday in the lives, it was about people with bridges, and some people thought it was about the rainbow bridge, because Iris comes down the goddess Iris, which was from Tuesday, comes down a rainbow bridge to deliver messages from the from the heavens, and so on and so forth. And then of course Rainbow Bridge, when our pets passed over, our loved ones, our companions passed over. But it really wasn't about that. I was seeing literal bridges, man-made bridges, either in pictures or people living right next to them, so on and so forth. And there were a number of people that could receive that and identify with that, and got really in-depth messages yesterday morning in the live. So when today this animal comes up on the bridge day, and you take a look at, well, moose are just so big. I mean, from the ground just to their shoulders, they can be 5 feet tall. That doesn't count their head or their antlers. Now we're talking about another 2 or 3 feet. You would be looking at a creature coming at you that was could be 8 feet tall from the ground to the antlers. So that said, they're very gentle. I mean, they're very much like deer. They're very gentle unless provoked. And they're not quite as skittish as deer. They're not as likely to bolt as a deer is. A deer will, even a buck will bolt before it will come at you. Moose are a lot more likely, the male ones, to lower those antlers and come at you. But again, only if they feel super provoked, or the moms will come at you if you're somewhere in the neighborhood of the babies and, they don't know you're not coming for their babies, and you get it. But I just keep hearing the word gentleness, 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 because something that you are trying to put together you're coming at it like a ramrod, that's not helpful. You've got to come at it with more gentleness, and here's why. It would seem that something that large, a moose that's that large, is pretty much invincible. And, other than when idiot man, other than when idiot man gets a hold of them, and hunts them, it is, they really are gentle, and they do have almost no threats to them, except for, like, even a pack of wolves, even a pack of this cannot bring them down. However, it only takes one bite to set up an infection in that moose, and a week later, they're out because the infection has spread through their body. And so that is the bigger part of all of this, is when I'm taking a look at the moose inverted and I'm seeing what that means for you. It is all about, don't underestimate what one small bite can do. And here's what that will really mean. Let's say that you have decided you want a new hairdo, or you want to change careers, or whatever. I mean, just whatever you want to change, or you want to go from one thing to another. Let's just put it that way. You want a bridge. You want to go from one side of this bridge, you want to cross the bridge and go to the other side of this bridge. And it could possibly only take one person to smirk at you or joke you, or be like, why do you want to do that? Or are you sure? Or, just not have the faith in you and not support you. And man, that can get in you, and it can fester, and it can get infected. And the next thing you know, you're not crossing the bridge at all. You've let that one person's bite, no matter how much it might have hurt, no matter how much it might sting, you've let it get infected. And you have not crossed the bridge when you should have crossed the bridge. Don't do that. And listen, when animals come to you, your spirit, totem, and power animals, it is really important that when you're interpreting their messages, you consider the size of the actual animal. So when you're dealing with things like whales and elephants and rhinos and hippos, and, even the bigger birds like cassowary and emu and like a harpy eagle, all the way down to little eensy beensy finches, or those beensy little hummingbirds, those so cute. It's important to take into consideration the size of the animal. So when you take a look at moose and you think of the enormity of this animal, you think, wow, one small bite really could do me in. So you've got to protect against that, and stop going at things like this. This is not the time to do that. This is the time to just let things unfold as they should unfold. Now, I'm not saying don't put any effort into it. Of course, I'm not saying that. And of course, the animal analyzer are not saying that. What they are saying is, everything's got to happen in a flow. Everything's got to happen in a flow. Now, the other thing that is all about the moose that I think not a lot of people know, because every time I tell people this, they're like, what? Because people get all kind of flummoxed when they see moose antlers hanging on a wall somewhere. They assume the animal has been hunted, and, that's what's left of, poor Mr. Moose. That's not true. Not all the time, because male moose shed their antlers every year. You never know when you're going to be walking around the woods in, say, Alaska or Canada, and there's, oh my God, there's a pair of moose antlers. Man, I'd snatch those things up so fast and bring them home, and oh my gosh, that would be like like such a super great omen. It would be amazing. So, there's a call for you to shed what's weighing heavy on your mind. Now, let's be clear about this. You might think that this is don't misinterpret this message. This message is not about shed the old so you can bring in the new. It's not about that. Moose antlers can weigh up to 40 pounds or more a piece. Just the antlers. That's heavy, y'all. That is super heavy. So this is about shedding what's weighing heavy on your mind, which doesn't mean that you need to shed the old and bring in the new. In some ways it does, but mostly the verbiage is going to be what makes the difference in you knowing what this message means for you. Just not shed it, but just get rid of what's weighing heavy on your mind. Just shake it off. Just let it go. Let it fly. Let it go someplace else. Bless it. Thank you so much. Been nice knowing you. Hasta la vista, baby. Hasta la vista, baby. Right? Even say it like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Do it just like that. And send me video. I want to see you wild ones going, Hasta la vista, baby. Oh my God. A free book to somebody who sends me video that I can put on Gathering of Mystics of them going, hasta la vista, baby. No more heavy thoughts. Yes, so totally. We all need that in our life. Help a sister and brother out, right? Okay, so so there's that. And then along with the moose being inverted, moose eat a lot. I mean, you know, they're big creatures. They've got to eat a lot. And when I see an animal, when it's food related, like with squirrels, and when, especially whether squirrels are, you know, the squirrel card is upright or inverted, it's all about having a false relationship with food. When I take a look at moose who needs to eat a real lot, it is time to cut back on your chow. And not all the chow, but the chow that you know you shouldn't be having. Case in point, me. I'm back on a hot tamales kick, y'all. I don't know why. They just, I the other day, let me just be, you know, like I'm in a confessional booth, and you all are behind the computer screen listening. What did Bernadette do now? What schmagaggy thing? What idiot thing did Bernadette do now? The other day, I literally had 2 boxes of hot tamales to eat all day long. Now the calories were nothing combined. I think it was like, I don't know, 800 calories combined, but that wasn't the point. The point was, all I lived on was red dye number 5, corn syrup, and sugar. And really, okay, for whatever reason, it was all my system wanted, but I should have made myself do better than that. I should have made myself do better than that. And I didn't. And so this is about that. This is about the food that you know that you should not be eating. Not because it's a weight thing or it's anything like that. It's literally about the oh, that's it. It's about the quality of what you're ingesting. And now what I'm hearing from the animal allies is this is also about upside down food communication, that which feeds you. Oh, totally makes sense, because if you hearken back to the thing about what's weighing heavy on your mind, and getting rid of that, this is, and it only takes you, for whatever reason, you're allowing one little bite from someone, even if it's a big, horrible rat chomp, you know, you don't let it get infected, get it healed before it gets infected, and you go, man down, and you know, there you go. So this is about what you're ingesting in terms of real physical food, but also of words, emotions, that kind of thing. You're either ingesting too much and it's not affecting you well at all, or you're ingesting too little and it's brittle. It has no nutritional value. The reason I look confused, I'm not confused, it's just this, man, this came in so fast and so big. There are a bunch of y'all out there that are listening to people make you promises they're never going to keep. They know they're not going to keep them. They're blah, 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 because they're trying to make themselves feel better and not feel so guilty about letting you down for the umpteenth time or using you for the umpteenth time, and not wanting to reflect and take a look back on themselves and go, you know what? I'm just a selfish this. I only ever am concerned about myself in, I'm going through this right now in a business dealing. This person is, they don't even know. Then it is not even worth going into. They don't even know. They're to even tell them this would be like I'm coming out of left field with something. And yet history has proven itself that every single solitary time there's some kind of business transaction that we want to do together, it just falls apart because they've got a button with money. And I know that. So why would I even attempt that again? But they promise, and then they promise, and then they promise some more, and that promise never gets kept. And I've been in that position, man. I've been so far behind the 8 ball. Not that I didn't want to keep the promises. Oh, I wanted to keep them. I absolutely intended to keep them, but you cannot, you can't give water from an empty well. And when that well goes dry, what are you going to do? Right? So I've been there. And I'm not pointing fingers and I'm not casting aspersions, and it's not even me. I'm giving the messages. But this in particular has to do with you not getting enough sustenance because somebody out there is making promises they cannot keep, but they know they can't keep them. But they may not be I don't get the feeling that they're doing it deliberately to try to trick you. They're just trying to not be embarrassed or not be shamed or not be, let themselves down again because they let you down again. So, that is some kind of big message to come through today from Moose. Man, I hope that was helpful. And gosh, I hope you guys will go get this book. I'm telling you, if you want to learn about getting closer and more in deeper connection with your animal allies, you've got to have my new book. Pledge the Kickstarter. It's the last time you're going to see this book at this price, no joke, as evidenced by the 40% increase in paper costs in China, which is costing me significantly more to get this book printed. And believe me, the prices are going to go up. The prices are going to go up commensurately. They have to. I don't have a choice. So I hope you pick up your copy of the Arc Animal Tarot and Oracle deck. Get on over to gatheringofmystics.com. Come join the conversation over there. Get all your learning on. Get all your social stuff on. But all of that aside, what's the most important thing? Do good for animals and stay wild.